I was something like 100 plus pounds into the obese category. I was not healthy. Getting up a flight of stairs would get me winded and have me running for my inhaler. So outside of changing my diet, I knew that I needed to find something that was going to keep me active and to keep me feeling better. I
Hey everybody, this is Jeremy and welcome to Price Points. Here at Price Points, we believe in finding fun ways to stay active. In this episode, sitting down talking to Danielle Thornton, also known as the Shrinking Princess. Now, Danielle definitely knows how to have fun while staying active. She's an avid runner and participates in a lot of fun races. Sit down, talk to her, really kind of unpack some of the races that she's done, some of her favorite races. She's an avid Disney fan, and that really shines through in this episode. But she also talks about why exactly she runs, what motivates her running, and then some of the races that she's looking forward to in 2024. Been following her on Instagram for a while. However, we never really met face to face until this past October. We were both running in the Haunted Half Marathon in Kingsport, Tennessee, that was hosted by the Goose Chase. Speaking of the Goose Chase, if you're not familiar with them, man, check them out. I think you'll really like some of the fun themed races that they hold throughout the year. If you're just getting into running, they've got some really fun 5Ks you can participate in. If you're more of a half marathon runner, they have those as well. They have a great series called the Trifecta. Was able to do all three of those races this year, and they were a blast. While you're checking them out, hey, check us out. Be sure to give us a like and a follow. We greatly appreciate it. Now, here's the interview with Danielle, also known as the Shrinking Princess. I want to thank Danielle for coming on the podcast. Danielle, how's it going?
It's great, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, thanks for coming aboard. I really appreciate it. I know that you're someone I've been following for a while on Instagram, and actually met face to face for the first time just last month with the Haunted Half. And when you saw me at first, you didn't recognize me because of my crazy get up. And but got to talk to you and really like following your story, and your adventures, if you will, on Instagram. So thought it would be a good time to kind of get you on here. So I guess just kind of tell everybody who you are and a little bit about really your handle that I love, Shrinking Princess.
I'm Danielle. I'm the Shrinking Princess. I'm a wife of 5 years to my best friend. I'm a mom to a sweet little 2-year-old boy, and I'm a runner.
Fantastic. So I guess what kind of got you going as far as what led you down the path of being a runner and just signing up for races and doing all that jazz.
So the original interest with running started when I wanted to start trying to lose weight. I was something like 100 plus pounds into the obese category. I was not healthy. Getting up a flight of stairs would get me winded and have me running for my inhaler. So outside of changing my diet, I knew that I needed to find something that was going to keep me active and to keep me feeling better. I sort of stumbled on Run Disney. They had a virtual race that was open at the time, and I thought, okay, we'll try this. I like the medals. People seem to be having fun with this. We'll start, breaking this up over segments. I'll do this at the gym on the treadmill. So the first one that I ended up doing was it was a virtual Star Wars half before they discontinued that weekend altogether. Um, and I impulsively ended up signing up for it wasn't the Shamrock Shuffle. It was in Knoxville. It was a St. Patrick's Day themed 5K,
Okay.
and that was in 2020. So I did
Okay.
that Sunday, and then I get a call from my boss the next day. World shuts down. Everything's closed. All the races went virtual. I was
Right.
sent home. We had no idea what we were doing. They just said, okay, you don't have to work until we get everything figured out. Um, so I just spent a lot of that time going out and continuing to run and building my base, and it just kind of went from there.
Wow. During that time, I can't even remember what 5K I did, but it ended up being a virtual, and it may have been a Star Wars like May 4th virtual one. And so that's interesting. So, you mentioned the Star Wars run. I guess what are some things that you love about running, and particularly like what do you love about participating in races?
I love the community that running has brought me. Of course, I love how running makes me feel mentally, physically. It's freeing. I always love how I feel after a run. The day after, I always feel great. But I have met and made so many friends just from this community, be it from the local Goose Chase community and the Run Disney community. That has been my favorite part out of everything.
Yeah, and the people that Goose Chase that I've met are just fantastic, and so it's funny because they have a majority of their races in the Tri Cities, and they have a few here in Knoxville, and I've ran all the ones I've done have been in the Tri Cities, not here locally. Every time they have one here local, I have something going on. Like actually yesterday they had the s'mores run for
Yeah,
Knoxville, and unfortunately couldn't make it because my son Max was in a soccer tournament. So by the time we were done with the soccer tournament, the race was already over. Yeah, you mentioned that. So we talked about Goose Chase. That's kind of our connection, if you will. I Run Disney, something I've never done before, and so what I guess you know is there a favorite Run Disney event you've done? Is there one you're looking forward to, or just I guess tell us a little bit more about Run Disney.
ooh, favorite. That's tough. Um, I feel like every time I finish one of their races, it's the new favorite. I've been happy with every single race that I've done with them. Distance wise, I like the 10K, but when it comes down to the memories that I've made, I think I'm the most attached to the marathon weekend half marathon. It was
Mhm.
my first Run Disney half marathon. The course takes you through the castle, brings you past one of the prettiest sunrises you could possibly see. Um, it it takes me past a lot of great childhood memories running down Main Street. So that one I think is that one's the favorite. Challenge wise, I did like the princess challenge, but I could probably go on and on about all of them. And I am really looking forward to the Dopey challenge. Um, that is coming up in January.
Okay, now what's the dopey challenge?
So, explaining this, it's probably going to live up to the namesake. So, the marathon weekend is the only weekend that Walt Disney World has that has an actual marathon. All three of the others cap out at max a half marathon. So, over 4 days, it's a 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, and there's various, you can pick if you can sign up. Sign-ups are difficult. Um, they have a race and a half challenge, which is the half marathon and the full marathon. You could pick and choose, or the dopey challenge is all four. So I'll be doing all 4 days, which means I get to run a full marathon the day after a half marathon
Oh
and a
wow.
5K and a 10K.
Wow. So it's did I hear that right? It's 4 days and there's a
four
race
days,
each day.
hmm
Holy smokes. And all back to back. So it's
all back to
consecutive.
back. So
Ooh,
it's just shy of 50 miles over 4 days.
holy smokes. That's wild. That is wild. So I guess shifting gears just a little, you mentioned the medals. Do you have a favorite medal? Like just one that really stands out?
Ooh, oh my God. I think so. I'll break this down because I hate trying to compare. My favorite Goose Chase medal is the medal that they just gave out at this last Bluegrass half marathon. I love that they had the Johnson City skyline and all of the
Mhm.
nice little highlights about town. I have lived in Johnson City my entire life, minus the time that I went to Disney to work an internship. So it was
Mhm.
just really special to have a medal that looked like that. Favorite Run Disney medal was the this year's Princess Fairy Tale Challenge medal. So the Fairy Tale Challenge Was not all three races. It was just the 10K and the half. So it was 19.3 miles. So if you successfully complete both of those, you got a bonus medal. And this one had Cinderella on it. And she's my favorite princess. So it was really nice to run all of those miles and get my favorite girl on one of my medals.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So your love for Disney is beyond the Run Disney. You were
Oh,
an
yeah.
intern. You were an intern there as well.
Yes. So my parents started off taking me when I was 2, and I've been at least once or twice a year since then.
Wow.
And from the time that I was little, my parents said that I said when I was an adult, I wanted to come down and work here. Um, Found out about the college program, so I applied and got to go down and work in the fall of 2014, and I worked in retail.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
awesome. I knew someone, they were a few years older than me, but when we went to high school together, knew her younger sibling, and she did the program one summer. And I think she was Snow White or something like that. So
Oh, fun.
yeah, so that's really neat. That's awesome. So when you're between races and you're between your next event, what kind of keeps you motivated to kind of stay on track?
There's a couple of different things that goes into it. I mentioned earlier that I like how it makes me feel. Um, I am typically pretty open about this. I have had some pretty deep mental health struggles, and running seems to be one of the best outlets that's helped me work through a lot of things, that's helped me, get those nice little serotonin boosts. So running has really helped with that. Um, and I try to make sure that I'm always giving myself something to look forward to, even if it's something small. So if I don't have a race lined up in the next couple of weeks, my thing to look forward to is, oh, I get to go out. It's nice today. I get to go out and run in this, or I get to go on my long run. I get to pass some of my favorite spots today. So it's just finding these little things to give myself bits of motivation, even if there's not something immediately in the future.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And that's great. That's a really good mindset. And kind of speaking of mindset, we're kind of coming close to New Year. It's hard to believe. A lot of people set New Year's resolutions. So if there's someone out there who one of their New Year's resolutions is like, hey, I want to start training for a race. I want to start running. What advice would you give that person, that new person that is picking up running, but might be a little just uncertain about
Don't wait till New Year's. If you're interested in it,
it?
act on it when you're interested. Um, don't give yourself a certain date. If you take an interest, go find a pair of shoes, go out and do it.
Mhm.
And if you feel like you don't have the base to just go out and run several miles at once, I don't know anybody who can do that right off the bat.
Right.
Um, Find a training program. I used Couch to 5K starting off, and that's a run walk interval program. There are a couple out there, but they take into account your fitness level, age, what you're comfortable with, and they'll start you off with walking running intervals. The running intervals will increase, and you can either work up to just straight runs or stick with intervals like I do. Um, so do that and then find your motivator.
Wow. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I know there are a few run groups in Johnson City
Mhm.
specifically. In fact, I'm going to be up there next week and found out one of them's on Tuesdays on the Tweetsie Trail. So I plan on doing that, like meeting up with them. I think there's also discounted beer afterwards. So that's kind of my motivation. That might be wrong, but are there run groups that you participate in that you do in town? Or when you get together, are you doing like maybe some solo runs and then every once in a while maybe like meeting up with friends to do runs, or how does that program look for you?
Um, for the most part, I'm doing solo runs, especially my long runs. If I'm doing the long runs, I kind of like to get in my zone. But if I'm doing events, I've got a couple of girls, hey Jessa, hey Les, that I like to run with.
Now you mentioned didn't Les just get her like a PR in Oak Ridge? Or
Yeah,
am I
she
yeah,
did.
yeah, I saw that. I saw that on Instagram that she was running that, and the Oak Ridge race is fairly close to my house. That's another run that I haven't done, but that no, I saw that and kind of gave her a thumbs up. That's great that she was able to do that. So you get in your zone, I guess. Are you one of those, listen to music when you're out running, or
Sort of. Well, yes. Earbud in one ear, listening to my surroundings in the other. If I'm outside, gotta be safe.
gotcha.
But yeah,
Right.
I have to have something keeping the beat.
All right, what's your go-to beat then?
Ooh, it depends. Um, Metal seems to be the current thing. I like a lot of Ghost. I've been sneaking some Slipknot in. Um, but that's been the favorite for the past several months.
Now, I don't know, it's Slipknot and Disney. I don't know if that kind of goes hand in hand. That's, instead of shrinking princess, it might be shrieking, princess. That's and I don't know, for people who don't catch my accent, that may have sounded like the same word. So that's, well, I tell you what, next up, it sounds like, I was going to ask you, what's next for you, but it sounds like what you're getting into now is really just getting in training for the dopey. Because when is the dopey? Did you say it was the beginning of the year?
It's that first full weekend in January. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. After that, I'm sure you're going to get some rest. Do you have anything else lined up for the coming year?
Oh, of course, there's no rest. There's never rest.
I
I one of the things that I wanted to do this year was make sure that I did at least one race a month, which I wanted to do 20 in a year, so of course more than one race a month. I've already got that somewhat planned out for next year. So I'll have the Dopey Challenge. I'll give myself probably closer to 2 weeks off just to be careful, do a couple of long runs, and then mid-February, I'm going back down for the Princess Half Marathon weekend, and I'm going to do all 3 races again.
Wow. Goodness gracious. So are you, that's awesome. And that's in my mind, when I hear that, that's a very aggressive, it's attainable, but it's a very aggressive goal to have, and hats off to you. That's awesome. That's great.
Thank you.
Do you do any trail running? Are you a trail runner?
You're talking like up in the mountains, or like
Yes.
anything that's not flat? I am far too clumsy to do that. I used to hike a lot in college, but if I combine that and speed, no, out the door. I'm gonna fall.
Okay, because I'm thinking about doing the Bays Mountain Run next year. So it sounds like I won't be seeing you on the trail.
No.
For that one. That's well. Where can people find you online and find you on the socials?
On Instagram and Threads, you can find me at shrinking.princess.
Okay. Fantastic. Danielle, thank you very much. It was great talking to you. Definitely going to circle back. I'm sure I'll circle back before then, but maybe after you do the dopey, we can get you on here for another episode so you can kind of talk about that and give us some insight.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. I want to say thanks again to Danielle for joining us on the podcast. Really had a pleasure speaking with her. And if you're not following Shrinking Princess on Instagram, man, go check it out. You can find Danielle at shrinking.princess on IG. The link to that will be in the show notes. I think you'll really, really dig what she's putting out there. And also want to wish her luck coming up 2024 at that dopey race. My goodness, that sounds wild. Hey, while we're talking about following, be sure to give us a follow. You can follow us here wherever you're listening, or on YouTube. And check us out at price-points.com. There, you'll find some additional information, some really fun limited series like Goofballs and Waterfalls, where we talk about some really short hikes that you can take you and your kids on. Also have Trails and Ales, which was a tour that we did of breweries and hikes throughout East Tennessee. I'm looking at continuing Trails and Ales in 2024, maybe expanding the horizon just beyond East Tennessee. I think it'll be really fun. Definitely check it out. Thanks for tuning in to Price Points. Got some fun episodes lined up in the future with some fantastic people. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Until then, take care and have fun.